Welcome to Labor Market Information. The labor market includes any information that informs us about those job seekers, employers, and workers, or information that teaches us about technology, demographics, and/or globalization. LMI can be found in all forms of media, from social media to Statistics Canada websites, from a weekly or daily news feed to a magazine. LMI is really everywhere. Your job is to sort through the vast array of information to find the information that will be most valuable to your clients. The labor market is made up of job seekers, employers, and workers. For the labor market to be in balance, we need some or all of these people. The labor market goes out of balance if there are not enough job seekers to fill the new jobs employers create. For example, if the unemployment rate in any given region goes below 4%, there are not enough eligible job seekers to fill job vacancies. The labor market goes out of balance if too many workers become job seekers. For example, when there are large layoffs or business closures. These variables are continually fluctuating and adjusting both seasonally and regionally. Paying close attention to the unemployment rate, the participation rate, and the rate of job creation in a community will give you an idea of the level of balance in the labor market. The labor market is driven by many things. There are three main drivers: technology, demographics, and globalization. Globalization impacts all industries and sectors. Today, the local economy in any region is impacted by forces that occur in the global economy. Consider the impact that rising oil prices have had on local economies. Many transport companies are struggling to afford the increase of costs. And then think about, how has this impacted the border towns on both sides of the US and Canadian borders, where there is a dependence on shoppers for their livelihood? We live in a world of a global economy, and everyday events that occur around the world can have and do have an impact on our local economies. We will explore more globalization in week 3 of this course. Demographics drive the labor market in ways that are becoming more and more apparent as the baby boomers move into retirement age. We are seeing two major demographic trends in Canada right now: a growing Indigenous population under the age of 30 and an aging baby boomer population. There are other demographic groups, Generation X, millennials, as well as the upcoming Zers, that impact the labor market in different ways as well. As we move through the next decade, we will see drastic shifts in the face of the labor market. We will look at the impact of demographics in week 2 of this course. Technology is also a major driver in the labor market. Technology advances have led to entirely new industries emerging. Consider that as recently as 20 years ago, Facebook was just an idea. Google was just becoming relevant, and Twitter didn't even exist. The idea of running a profitable online business from a remote community was basically unheard of, both because the internet was largely dial-up and developments in international transportation were just beginning to impact local businesses. Today, you can reliably order or ship goods from anywhere in the world without necessarily ever having touched the goods. Think about the millions of people who buy and sell products online. It is also important to think about the impact automation has had on both the economy and the labor market. Other drivers in the labor market will be discussed in the video Labor Market Structure and Influences. Now let's take a look at labor market shortages. As we can see across the country, more and more businesses are becoming forced to alter their hours of operation and or close entirely because they cannot find skilled workers to fill their jobs. Some of these are in the service industry, like restaurants, and some are in manufacturing or other production-based businesses. The shortage of skilled worker labor is likely to increase before things level out in the labor market in much of Canada as baby boomers have left the labor market and the impacts of COVID and the changing landscape of work. Politics and the economy. The political and economic landscape has a significant impact on the labor market, both in direct and indirect ways. Directly, political and economic policies influence where and how much job creation occurs. Indirectly, economic changes in the global economy impact the existence of jobs in a wide range of areas. So think about the war in the Ukraine and how this has impacted gas and food prices in Canada. Labor mobility. We live in a time when both technology and demographic shifts have occurred, and labor has become very mobile. It is possible and common to work in more than one labor market today. It is also possible to move from one labor market to another quite easily in today's economy if you have on-demand skills and are able to relocate or be managed remotely. The reality for many job seekers in the labor market is that they're going to have to move to where the jobs are. Pressure on social services. As Canada's population ages, there is a greater demand on social services. Many people in the labor market today find themselves sandwiched between caring for children and parents. For some individuals who do this type of caregiving, they opt to leave the labor market. This puts a strain on the already strained labor pool. Basically, what all of this means is CDPs and the clients we are seeing accessing services are those individuals who do not easily or necessarily find entry into the labor market very easily. They are typically clients with more and more persistent barriers to employment. Having access to good, solid labor market information may be the difference between a client remaining unattached to the labor market or finding their pathway into the labor market. Now we're going to take a quick look at some resources. Under globalization, there are a couple of different links to perspectives on globalization. The first one is a Gapminder, and there's several videos in there. So when you click on that link, you'll be able to choose from different ones that you'd like to look at. And the second resource here is how the influx of immigration has impacted the labor market and how it has helped to fill some gaps. There's also going to be more resources on globalization in the week 3 content folder. Here are some links on the impact of demographics on society and by extension, the labor market. Looking at the Economist article, you will have the chance to listen to how the population is growing in some areas and declining in others. It will also share the impacts of this change in demographics, both in Canada and globally. You may have to sign up to review the entire article, just to let you know. When you get to the Gapminder site, check out the other videos that are there. This is slightly different than the globalization link. So you'll have an opportunity to kind of find your way through there. Some really great videos explaining things. The first website on this demographics page is from the Stats Canada. So it's going to, and it's very recent. So it's going to show you all kinds of data that you can take a look at for employment and demographics. And lastly, here are a few resources for you. There's so much information out there in the world about the impact of technology on every aspect of our daily life. Here are three sites to look at to gather up, all kinds of different information in different ways. So Trend Hunter will show you ways that new technology is changing things. And there's news about new developments going on in the Wired magazine link there. And also, there's various ways technology has impacted us through videos. So there's a link here to Vimeo, which a lot of people use to upload their videos. So these are just three resources. There's many, many, many out there. So please feel free to explore. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in class.